Oh,
Yeah, so we're live.
mm-hmm.
Let's go. Hi,
So
Oh
we
my
everyone.
are
gosh.
live.
Nice.
Yeah,
A late Monday episode.
yeah, no choice, eh? We have to do it on that way because it's all my
Uh,
fault, guys. I work the weekend,
no, it's
so.
not your fault. It's not like you're out having fun. You're working and saving people's lives. So we can't even, complain.
Guys, so we'll just share the links as we usually do, and
Yep.
we'll be starting in like a minute or two, so it won't be too long, guys.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm the one sharing. So guys, feel free to
Yeah.
retweet on Twitter, to share on Facebook. Just promote the show for us too. We always have you. We always love having you here, and the more we are, the better it is, right?
Of course.
More the merrier. Hattie, did you do Easter
Yeah.
egg hunting with Nadim or no?
No, I didn't do hunting, but we were invited, and he's just too
He's
young. He's just too
yeah, no,
young
that's
to do
fair.
that still, right? So maybe next year. But the people that we were at did it.
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah,
Cool.
yeah, it was nice. It was nice.
Cute.
Good. So this
No,
is
okay,
done.
cool. I'm done, guys. So whenever you're done, we go.
I'm
Yeah,
done.
we can go whenever you guys want. So I think we can start with the 30 seconds,
Yep.
Yes,
and we can start right away.
let's go. Hello, my friends. My name is Samuel Savy, and this week on the show, Montreal sits sixth in the East after putting a solid four-game undefeated streak. The women national team fight back to earn a draw against a stiffer Nigeria, and Vancouver is back in contention to host a World Cup game. This and a lot more in episode 77 of The Ball is Round. But first, we're joined by Justin Friedberg from the Duke by the River podcast to help us preview Saturday's away game at Subaru
Please, Vancouver.
Philadelphia. Phillies Brad Good. Hey, Justin, thank you so
Uh,
much for accepting our invitation. How are you, man?
No problem, and good. I'm always glad to talk the beautiful game. And since we've had both Eve and Sam on ours, I figured it was time for me to come on over here.
yes.
Man, it's always cool to see you guys. And, you know, of course, I'm joined by Adzi, Rafael, and Yves Paul. How are you guys?
It's Monday.
Kind of the same.
It's
Same old, same old, man.
Monday. And it was not a holiday for me today, so it's like extra depressing Monday, if I'm being completely honest.
Nah. Yeah, for me, Mondays are like Sundays, right? Because my weekend is
Yes.
Sunday, Monday. So Tuesday is my actual Monday. So I'm still okay now.
Okay, man. Okay. So we'll go right into the interview with Justin. This Philly first in the East, a team that we've modeled ourselves through the years. I think since the Thierry Henry dates, he was talking a lot about you guys. So I just want to know, guys, you have 16 points in 7 games. What I want to know is, are you guys surprised knowing that you lost Jamiro Montero and Casper Shabilko, among others, sitting first?
I already know your answer about Casper
We'll have to ask it, though.
And that's what I said to the guys.
Yeah, Eve has heard me talk about Casper enough. Chicago is now very well aware of his limitations and why he didn't fit in a pressing system. As good of a striker as he was also very slow. And I think with Jamiro, well, I mean, one, San Jose having just fired Almeida today officially, that was a foregone conclusion. But I think getting rid of Jamiro was actually kind of a blessing
Oh, yeah.
because there were reports of locker room problems, and
Mm.
from what we've seen so far this season, I think it was holding back Daniel Gazdag because this season already, him and Julian Carranza have arguably been really the offense for the Union and have created a ton of chances so far. So Jamira wasn't a 10, and I think we were kind of hamstrung into forcing him into that position.
Mm-hmm.
So while while getting rid of both players in a normal offseason might not be great, I think all things considered, you'd take 5-1-1 in the first 7 games. If you look back at it, in the off season.
Last time around, you guys visited the Olympic Stadium for the first time, and you managed to grab a win. Do you feel that mentally you guys have the upper hand on us?
I think honestly, and Eve knows this. I was not super confident, mainly because of that field and that that those conditions. I mean, it also led to Mikel Ua kind of re-aggravating whatever injury he had, and he started to come back from it. But I honestly, I'm never overconfident with the Union because the Union are going to give Montreal a lot of possession. I mean, that's what the Union do. The Union do not possess the ball much at all. And the way Montreal is playing lately, especially with Jordy pushing his name back into the U.S. national team, I mean, I think at this point he has to start to get some Nations League time and maybe be a consideration for the end of the bench. I mean, a lot of it's kind of set in stone, but with with Union games at home, I'm usually fairly confident. And they're never pretty. I mean, the last few games have not home games haven't been exactly pretty. So I wouldn't say overconfident. I just say at home, I like our odds better than most usually.
Nice. We want to know what's Jim Curtin's secret, because when he started in Philly, I know there was discussions that maybe he wasn't a good fit. There was some fans that were a bit worried when his tenure started. Now I think most fans must be on board, right? And you did lose key players this offseason, but you're still able to dominate. Just give us his tricks, man.
Well, so listen, it's Jim Curtin after the tenure of Peter Novak and the stuff that's come out since then. Not exactly pretty. With if you've listened to any interview Sebastian Latou has given on every Philadelphia podcast, because he's been on ours, he makes the rounds. Trevor's a great guy, but everyone knows what happened in the Peter Novak and the John Hackworth days. I think if you were early Jim Curtin and you saw the hashtag Curtin out, and early Union were really, really bad. I think up until 2018, up until Ernst Tanner came in, it was clear the team was kind of focused on the academy, which has obviously produced dividends, but there wasn't this, the signing players was not good. I mean, Ernie Stewart somehow failed his way up to the U.S. men's national team, but his talent acquisition was terrible. And Ernst Tanner, I mean, for all we joke about Casper, he was his first signing, and really he got a pretty good return on his investment because he was free. He was coming off of injuries, and you got a lot of money for him.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I think the biggest help for Jim Curtin, one, is that he's a player's coach. He understands. He's played in the league 8 years. He played under Bob Bradley. He knows what it takes to really thrive in this league. And with Jim having the backing of Ernst Tanner and being able to get these players that he's finding diamonds in the rough. Kai Wagner was coming from, the 3rd division. Casper was playing in the 3rd division. I mean, you're pulling these players. You pulled El Brujo Martinez from Venezuela. Jesus Bueno, who is starting to get more time, was pulled from it.
Mm-hmm.
You're tapping these markets that the Union really never got into, on top of the academy that is producing a ton of great young players. Nate Harriel, really had his coming out party against Montreal. I mean, you're starting to see the players that are really, breaking through. And I think it shows that, Jim Curtin knows he's been with this team from the academy up through to the first team. He knows a lot of these young guys. He knows how these players need to be successful. And he understands not everyone's going to be a Mark McKenzie or a Brendan Aronson, but he knows how to get the best out of the players. And when it comes to it, he says, he wants what he sees in training, he wants on the he rewards that. And sometimes the fans don't understand it, but I'd say arguably in the last few years, it's showing that the patience was worth it for Jim. And we'll see if the team and the team can take the next step.
Now, I have a very important question, Justin. Are you called Philly's Brad Guzan just because you're bald?
Does that mean we have to call you Montreal's Brad Guzan?
Yeah, exactly. Am I Montreal's Brad Guzan?
I usually go for the Jewish Tim Howard or Philly Tim Howard if we can. But I figured, and unfortunately with Brad Guzan's injury being out for the year, I figured it was pretty topical. For this point.
Nice. Good point. Good point.
Okay, now I have, of course, a few questions about Philly, about the Union. Now, Daniel Gazdag has scored 4 goals in 7 games this season,
including against Montreal.
Yeah,
exactly. Do you think he's the danger man of this team, or who it is? Who is it if it's not him?
Yeah, I think that he is absolutely, if not the most dangerous player, I'd say he's arguably right now behind Julian Carranza in terms of being the Union's most dangerous player. And the reason they're kind of 1A, 1B is because Daniel Gazdag is a type of 10, and I said this last year, and it showed that he needed a striker or strikers that could connect with him, that could give those 1-2s, that he wants to get onto the ball. He wants to be in those advanced positions, and he wants to create those plays. Kasper Shaboko was not that type of striker. And the Union took a flyer on Julian Carranza. And it's clear that Miami doesn't know what they're doing. I mean, I've seen that, with everything that's going on. But it's clear that, this, again, we have an option to buy for a very, very cut rate price, which I have a pretty good feeling they might trigger. I mean, Ernst Tanner knows a good deal when he sees it. But I think the thing you're seeing with Gazdag and Carranza is Carranza loves to drop deep. He loves to get in. He loves to connect those, even those simple, 1-2 passes 40 yards from net. What that is doing is that is giving a ton of space for your outside backs, your Kai Wagners and your Nate Harriels. It's even allowing Ali Bedoya, who, let's be honest, is 34 years old, doesn't have the legs he used to, but with someone like Nate Harriel, he doesn't have to make all those runs. So when he makes those runs going forward, he has the fresher legs. And Daniel Gazdag is the linchpin behind it. I mean, on the goal against Toronto, it looked like a broken play, and Gazdag just takes the time, waits for Ua to get onside, and it's a simple pass and chip, and Carranza's in the back post for the header. At this point, that you're starting to see what this connection, with a good connection between Gazdag and your strikers are. And obviously with Ua coming off of injury and starting to get full minutes. I mean, he went 65 and 75 this game. So he's starting to get more time, and he's looking dangerous. He's already gotten 1 assist. Carranza now is on 2 goals and 3 assists. If you can have at least, I'd say Gazdag can easily this season get 10 goals. And Carranza, I had around 10 goals. I had Ua about 10 to 15. But even if all 3 of them are around 10 goals,
you're good.
That production is already way better than you had last year. And I mean, you look at New England last year, they did exactly. Obviously, they lost in the first round, but they had 3 players who had over 10 goals.
Yeah.
I mean, New York City happened to have one guy who had 19, and then their second player at 9. So it definitely helps to have a more consistent offense, and you're starting to see that even if the production from the striker core isn't as high as but you also do, forget, people forget that Corey Burke, who I'm sure Montreal fans are not
We know
super happy
him.
to hear his name, does have 2 goals on the season and didn't come off the bench, so he might be an option coming off the bench for a very early kickoff. I don't think it's a nationally televised, but it's a 3:00 kickoff. It is a weird time slot.
That's the kickoff Montreal's had like all season. Sorry, I think it might be Montreal. I don't know.
Yeah, it's the kickoff of Montreal in the beginning of the season. It's going to be the same until the 7th of May, and it's particular. Let's say it that way. There's a living color abroad that says I think Philly are a bit overrated, but their central defenders and Blake are legit.
I wouldn't
in
know
living color.
Overrated. I mean, I think in fairness, I haven't listened to as much MLS Extra Time as I used to, but for being in first place, the Union still don't get a ton of love. And I mean, sure. I can understand the criticisms being that their striker core still is a question. It's not as big of a question as it used to be, but yeah, I'd say, the Union, obviously having a phenomenal goalkeeper in Andre Blake is a help. Having a defense that was a top 5 defense last year, and just picks up one outside back and adds another, and you have a solid midfield that, I mean, for all the the not possession that the Union have, it really, the Union aren't a defensive team. I mean, I know the stats would suggest otherwise, but it's because we don't have the ball. We make do with the limited possession that we do have, and it just helps that having a solid defense, creates a good, offense. I mean, it's why they say defense wins championships. And I think that the Union have had that for a few years. It's just they've needed to work on the offense. So I don't know about overrated. I still think, it's Philly. I always say it's Philly versus everyone. We never get love even when we're in the
it's crazy. It's the same song
we
here
know that,
too.
man.
It's Montreal against everyone. So
I know. I'm just sitting here like, oh.
Now, every year there's a youngster from the Union Academy that makes a name for himself in the MLS. You talked right now maybe twice about Nathan Huriel, but do you think there's anybody else that could show up this year? We've seen Fontana in the past, Aronson, of course, Brendan, and then Paxton. So who's the next one in Philadelphia?
What's funny is Paxton hasn't been getting as much time, and I think rightfully so. I think the development for Paxton is going to be tougher, not in the fact that he's going to be slower. I think they're not rushing him because you have Gazdag and you have a few other young players, and I think the two that I see taking the next step would probably be Jack McGlynn and Quinn Sullivan. If you've been following the youth national team, all 3 of McGlynn, Sullivan, and Aronson have been getting a ton of time with the youth national team.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we know Sullivan from last year, right?
Yeah.
So,
Quinn Sullivan in 2 games against the Argentinian youth team in River Plate had 6 of the 7 goals that were scored.
Nice.
Apparently, while in view of Lionel Messi, who was that? So I don't. I'm not making any. But when you have Messi and Di Maria and all those players looking up and looking fairly impressed, but I think Jack McGlynn could probably be the next one, and I only say that because I think he's a almost direct replacement for Ali Bedoya, and I say almost direct in that he's got the passing range that Ali does. he's not as quick. So I think that's where Quinn Sullivan definitely takes more of that, and you start to see Quinn, getting time when Allie was hurt and subbing in. So I think the two of them are going to really start pushing for more minutes as the season goes on, because I've been saying, I said at the start of the season, I really think Ali should only start 20 to 25 games. And that's also considering that you have the U.S. Open Cup starting, which with the MLS teams, with the Union, will come in next round. So it'll probably be in about a month or so. I think Ali needs rest. And I think where the one thing that the Union have had consistently the last few seasons is depth. And you have these youth players that, listen, can ball out when they need to. We've seen the highlight reels. I was there in Chicago when Quinn Sullivan had the bicycle kick. It was right in front of me on my birthday. It was a hell of a birthday present.
Yeah,
It was
that would be an excellent.
wow.
It was a wild moment. But I think it shows that, these kids who had no time at all, at the start of the season last year, were producing moments of magic. And it was why you saw them trusted with you. That's why you saw Jack McGlynn trusted with taking a PK against Nashville and doing the ice in his veins celebration, like giving a kid that young that kind of pressure and him coolly slotting one home. I think it's I think it just shows that it shows Philly tough. I think these kids are prepared, and I think Curtin more than anything knows that with the coaching staff he has and with the veterans that he has, will mentor these players. And I think that's what's helping. Nate Harriel has said, we talked to him and said that Ali has been a huge help. And a lot of these older players, even some of them like, Jack Elliott, who's in his mid-20s and he's
like a veteran now. Yeah,
it's a veteran now, but it really is still kind of a young guy comparatively. And you're hearing, these players really being groomed to take the next step. And I think it's the reason why you're seeing more and more players want to come here, either at that stage and join U2, because there are a number of players that that U2 have signed that could potentially even, press up. Riasco, the Venezuelan kid, hasn't made an appearance yet, but, could be an option. Carlos Paternina is an attacking mid that I've seen in person, and the kid can absolutely ball out, so that might even press Paxton Aronson. There are more options outside of the Philly Academy, and I think that just goes to show how committed they are to youth development while still getting a solid veteran signing or two, but definitely leaning harder on the youth side of things.
Oh, yeah, I have to make a comment. I thought that Di Maria and Messi were retired. They're in a retirement home right now, right?
For all the jokes that MLS gets, it seems like Leon and Serie A are definitely more of the retirement homes. Ibrahimovic couldn't do anything here, and he went to he went to Milan. Little chateau and little retirement.
Now, Montreal are on a 4-game unbeaten streak. Do you think the good momentum that they have can affect the Philadelphia Union? Do you think that they're a threat?
Oh, absolutely. And I say that mainly because of Jordi Mihalovic. I think the best thing for his career was getting out of Chicago.
Yeah.
And he was a Chicago homegrown. He did well there. But towards the end of his time there, you started to see, one, it was injuries. I think injuries definitely became a problem towards the end of his Chicago tenure. But with the coaching staff, he really wasn't deployed in the right spaces. He was deployed kind of more as an 8.
Yeah.
When his best position is being as the 10, being given the license to roam wherever and link up play. And I've seen, in his time with Montreal, and as Yves knows, our our very own Zach Labasso is a bit higher on Jordy than most. In fact, had Montreal finishing 4th, just strictly on. Well, he also said if Jordy stays the whole season, with the rumors linking to Leeds, if those are true, then his prediction might go a little more
sideways.
Down. But I think that the way Montreal's been playing solidly with kind of that, I would say that hybrid back 3, back 5, depending on if you have possession. Getting Alistair Johnson was, I was still surprised at the trade when Nashville did it. But I think it's paid dividends. Rudy Camacho though is still, again, between him and Kyoto,
he's a wild card.
Who gets a red card? Both have gotten red cards against Philly, so it's kind of a very iffy scenario. But I think the biggest thing is going for Montreal is Mihailovic going to be involved in the game? Because I think when he's active in the game and when he's contributing, I think Montreal are dangerous. But if he gets limited and in the game against Philly in Montreal, outside of that run that he had, for the
disallowed goal,
I think he was somewhat limited in that game, and it goes to show that Philly can limit the attacking mid, which in all of their wins they've absolutely shut down their star, the other team's star player. I think that'll be the key, and if Jordy can get going, it's going to be a lot tougher. I mean, Philly at home the last few years have always played well. So I think if they can shut down Jordy, I think the Union have a better shot. But as we saw last game, some teams only need a small moment to. As well as the Union defense has played, I mean, on the Pozuelo goal, there was just. I mean, I don't know what those the leg stab out for Gazdag and Brujo that were just like, just make a challenge. Like
come on.
It froze Jack Elliott. He can't do anything. And then he curls it. And it's like, well, that's that and the quick 1-2 with Osorio and Jesus Jimenez. And then you have a goal.
And maybe like Toronto also should have possibly been down a man.
No, absolutely. I still vehemently.
I was shocked when I saw the replay.
Oh, it was. Trust me. I'm sitting there. The brewery I go to watch away games. We were all livid, and I was actually watching instant replay before I came on, and Charlie Davies, who I guess for some reason, his one season in Philly was not very. I don't know if he didn't like us because he seems to always be very anti-Philly, but even him and Stu Holden both said that should have been a red card. And MLS refs, MLS is the only league I've ever seen where the ball can be out of bounds fully, and I've seen advantage played on a ball completely out of bounds. So the refs don't surprise me in this league. Every time I think I know how reffing works, MLS says, "Hold my beer." Here's a new low.
Oh my gosh, no! But that's a couple of salty tackles that Toronto have escaped with without a red card this season. Although Salcedo did get a posthumous red card or whatever you call it, because I know posthumous means when you're deceased, but I can't. The words that come into my mind. So with that being said, though, for Saturday's match. Obviously, Philly and Montreal, it's always been pretty close, pretty evenly matched up between the two. There's rarely been a blowout, particularly in recent years. Philly have 8 wins, 6 draws, and then Montreal have 6 wins. So for the general average Philadelphia supporter, are they feeling like this is 3 points in the bag or a little bit hesitant?
I think the Toronto game wasn't a hitting the panic button. It's a wake up call. I think anytime you're in a good run of form and you stumble, it's okay. We need to clean some things up. But the Union had the majority of the chances. So I don't think really the attack is any concern, and the defense.
Yeah, but you're playing Toronto, man.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't like Bob Bradley to begin with, so that was a little frustrating to see him win. But I think most Philly fans will probably tell you at home they like their chance of the 3 points, but myself, I think I could see a draw. I mean, like I said, Montreal games are always close. At home, we've been a bit better, but a draw really isn't out of the realm of possibility. If not, it's a 1-goal game. I think there's no way it's any more than that. The way that the games have been consistently, it's usually 1-goal games.
Yeah, definitely. So as we always ask each of our guests, and I know you've mentioned one player in particular, so we'll see what you say. If you could pick any player from CF Montreal's current squad to join Philadelphia Union, who would you pick?
That's a good question, and I think it would have to depend on the formation. I mean, obviously, the obvious choice would be Jordy, but I think for the Union's type of play, if he could control the red cards, I would say Romel Kyoto.
Yeah,
I think because of his speed, I think he would be great as a that Julian Carranza, Sergio Santos type of speed option over the top.
He's got good hold up play,
and someone who can really press, and someone who likes to drop deep and kind of can combine with the attacking mids. So I know the obvious answer would be Jordy, but Kyoto is always a player that he's one of those players that gets under your skin. But when he's on your team, it's like Brujo. When he's on your team, man, you love to see it. You love to see it.
It's weird. We've had a lot of Kyoto, but I think the player that has been named the most is Samuel Piet.
Yeah, Piet, yeah.
Oh, God, thank God he's been more of a bench player. Yeah, him and Anibal Godoy. I don't know who frustrates me more. Would be like it's similar to Diego Chara, and Brujo does the same way. They're players that toe the line of how many fouls can you get
before you get a card.
Before you either get a yellow or before you just get a straight red. And like I said, I know I talk about how much I love Brujo, but Piet if he was on our team, I'd absolutely love him. But thank God he has been so much more of a bench player. So I have not had to, because Tim knows well my just general frustration with Samuel Piet, just because he is absolutely a bastard. He's a bastard.
Oh my God.
You want that type of player in the locker room. Great leader, but he's gonna piss off everyone else on the other team, and that's the type. You need at least one of those players on your team.
He's a nice dude, though. Addy knows him a bit because you're in the press conference always.
That's the funny thing. Cool those dude, type of players are the nicest people off the field. It is on the field. It's just a switch hit, and they are completely aggressive.
Well, fair warning, he may well be fit to at least make the bench versus Philadelphia. He's been injured all season.
At last. I just want to share Chan's comment. He's giving you tips. He's like, keep attacking on Lassie's side, press on Kone, and the Union should win. So,
you know how I feel about Lassie.
That's an interesting one because his goal. I mean, it was a lucky deflection.
It was a fluke,
But I think Kone he really has been making a late push for the Canadian national team and has really been a solid player. That I think if you get on him, and like I said, it's that the Montreal midfield is going to be, if you can sever the connection with Mihailovic and Kone and really kind of disrupt how they operate, which the Union have been capable of doing. But I think it's better. It's easier said than done when it comes to Montreal. So
definitely,
it is going to be one that as I watch from my usual spot in the river end, I am going to be actively a bit concerned as I usually am for most of the game.
Fair enough. And our last question for you, do you care to offer your prediction for the result?
Like I said, I know I've been kind of very flippant on between a draw and a win. I think Montreal's form combined with the Union, I think we'll learn from Toronto's game, but I think also being at home usually gives them a pretty solid, and the crowd has surprisingly been pretty good. I think Philly's finally starting to realize that we have they're the best team in the region right now. Although the Sixers are currently winning against the Raptors, so that is a positive. But,
snap!
But I think I definitely I see it's going to be a tight one. As I said, I think it's a 1-goal game. I have the Union just barely squeaking out a 2-1 result. I think it is going to be a very chippy affair. I think Montreal actually gets an early goal, and I think the first 15-20 minutes for the Union are always very. If they can get past that, they're usually pretty good. I think Montreal gets a goal in that first 15 minutes. But I think the one thing that the Union will do the last few years is being able to push and being able to not take, most teams, past years, they used to just kind of bunker against the Union, and it was kind of the end result if the Union were down a goal. In the last few years, you've seen a change in the way that the Union been able to claw back results. And I think this game's no different. I think I'm going to say that Daniel Gasa gets back on the score sheet. And I think the Montreal killer, Corey Burke, comes off the bench and gets a thunderous header. Similar to what he did, I believe, in 2018.
That sounds about right, yeah.
When he had a brace in the win against Montreal, so I see Corey Burke making more nightmares for the Montreal faithful.
Oh, great! Well, I don't know. What do you guys think, Sam and Hattie? What are you offering up for our results?
Yeah, I think a 2-0 defeat.
Oh yeah.
I'm not confident at all. I think that the Union this year is a bit too strong for Montreal. Montreal has been getting good results, yes, but I think that they're gonna hit the wall in Philadelphia.
Yeah, I think I'd say 1-0 defeat, but a good performance, and it doesn't hamper too much what we're building right now. But I'm not too confident, even though it was a pretty even affair at the Olympic Stadium. But
it's a grain of salt.
Yeah, the Olympic Stadium, you can't count that for anything, So I'll go with a 1-0 defeat. Yeah.
And I'm gonna stick with a 2-1 as well. But I think Ramel Kyoto gets under your skin.
Listen, as long as Julian Carranza doesn't get another double yellow, that was a rough last 20-25 minutes of the game. Even though Uwa nearly made it.
I know
a couple times.
Close,
Just that's not something I like to go through for more than.
Cool, man.
Understood.
Justin, it was really fun to have you on, and for anyone who listens who wants to hit you up on social media or follow your work, where can they find you, man?
So if you want to see anything that myself or Tim or Zach write, we write for Philly Sports Network. If you want to see me rant about anything from soccer to D&D, my handle is at UnionNut26. And if you want to follow the show, we are at Dupe by the River. We usually record about Wednesdays or Thursdays. So check out. I'm sure Johnny will be reaching out to y'all to have you on as we usually like to do. But listen in. We'd like to keep it a little fresh, sometimes some hot takes come from yours truly. But no, if anyone wants to listen, more than welcome. We love having everyone on, promoting the game, promoting the league, and just talking about the sport that we all love.
Yeah, most
and you do a great job of it.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you so much, Justin. Take care, man. It was a pleasure.
No problem. Have a good night, guys.
Thank you.
Oh my God, we're so spoiled.
Oh man, that was
I
fun.
say it
Yeah.
every time. We're so
Yeah,
spoiled.
every time. No, it was good. It was good. So we got the preview done, guys. Now we need to look backwards a bit
Dun, dun,
because
dun.
it was
Time
the
machine.
first. Yeah, it was the first Stat Saputo game on Saturday. Unfortunately, I couldn't be there, but you guys were there.
Mhm.
Guys, just before we get into everything, how was it walking to the stadium at long last?
Well, I went really early because I went to the tailgate. So
Nice,
for me, I was like, it's so early.
nice.
Yeah, I was a bit. I wasn't late like after the kickoff,
Mhm.
but like I think I arrived maybe 20 minutes before
Okay.
the game. So I was like running a bit because I had to spend. I was spending time with my wife and my kid in the morning.
Of
So,
course, man.
but yeah, man, it felt like coming home, right? Like this is our stadium, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you, for the opportunity to play at the Big O, but it's not home.
Thank you.
Man.
Nah,
It's just
Who
not
are we
home.
thanking
Yeah,
for that?
yeah. Thank you, because we're not able to play games in winter
exactly.
time,
We'd
right? In
have to wait
Saputo.
until
So we
like
have like at least we have a choice. We are able to play in another stadium in Montreal. It would have been really sad if we had to go, let's say, to
Florida, man.
Florida or Chicago or whatever
no.
to play our home
Oh
games
no,
at the beginning of the season.
that would have
So,
sucked.
Yeah. So
yeah, exactly. So thank you. That's why I said thank you.
Okay, fair
But yeah,
enough.
no. It was really good to be home. Really,
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
nice to be out in the fresh air, especially it was a beautiful day.
It was, yeah. It was. And in town was Vancouver, a struggling Vancouver team, and Wilfred Nancy decided to go with the same lineup as in New York, but with Kyoto in front instead of Camara. We know that Torres is injured. He's sidelined right now. He's in the concussion protocol of the league. Probably happened in training because I don't recall him getting any injury during a game.
I think it was right
recently.
before the New York match. New
Yeah,
York Red
okay,
Bulls,
okay.
yeah.
So he entered the concussion protocol of the league and probably doing not too bad because he was at the stadium. He was physically there, so that's a good thing. And Sunusi getting time while Torres is out. And my first question is, since you've seen Sunusi play, since he's come back, do you think he has what it takes to make this position his?
Well, apparently now they're going to be competing with Jojo Cruzera as well, because Olivier Renard has said that's the position he's going to be competing for. Never mind my left wing back pipe dream hopes.
Forget that.
A girl can dream.
The position is locked, left wing back.
Please don't. Please don't. What was I gonna? No. I think that Sunusi, I think he had his feet a lot more under him in this match than in the match versus New York Red Bulls, which isn't like super surprising given that, it was his first match in several months after a pretty serious illness. And I like the way he occupied space. He created a lot of a room for himself to get involved on the build up to the second goal at the start of the second half. And so I liked it. I thought definitely he seemed to show good awareness, and I thought he was working really hard to open up space for himself and for his teammates.
Yeah, right now we have a choice between Torres and Sunusi, and to be honest, for me, Sunusi all the way, man.
He's look sharp. He's look sharp, man.
All the way. What he's able to bring to the team, for me, is a lot better than what Torres is bringing to the team.
Torres wins free kicks.
Yeah, but
what it's worth,
no, I know that's
like danger.
That's me throwing something. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think he brings danger. His forward runs, being able to utilize space, to really play behind the defense also, because Torres is not fast, right? He brings a lot more to this team than what Torres brings to this team. And to be honest, since the beginning of the season, we've seen a very average Joaquin Torres.
Yeah, no, for real.
But he's been okay. But if you look at the whole game, maybe he's been okay for 20% of the game.
Listen, Torres had a good start last year and then faded and never picked it up for real.
Yeah.
It was like when his best moments was when we started playing at Stade Saputo last year, so mid-season ish, and for a month or two, and afterwards it was slowly going downhill, and he never really recovered from it. So yeah, Sunusi, consistent. He's not the flashiest player, but is pretty solid. He make things happen. So
Mhm.
he merits a spot. So guys, in the first minute of the game, Georgie scored on a volley from a wonderful cross from Alistair Johnston. Do you guys think that Georgie has really grown in this off season? And the other question is, where was that killer instinct last year?
Wow. Yeah. So first of all, yeah, I think he's grown.
Mhm.
100%. I think he's a better player, a better all around player.
Mhm.
Now I want him to pass the ball a bit more. Like I want him to get more assists. And now
Mhm.
it's not his role. We can see that he plays a bit more, offensively, and he's more the one that's supposed to finish the plays. But still, I hope that we're going to see a bit more assists from him. We saw a great assist, and we're going to talk about it later, for the second goal, of course. But I love the way he's growing. I love the way he's, a lot of people were saying, Georgie had a great season last year. And, it's always tough the second year. The second year, you have to confirm that it wasn't a fluke, right? And now he is confirming that it's not a fluke. He's confirming that he's a very good player, and he's added something to his game: goals. He already has the same amount of goals as the whole of last year. And we talked about it last year about the fact that he wasn't able to shoot the ball correctly because of an injury, right?
Yeah, true.
So yeah, we know why he didn't have that killer instinct. And again, I think his positioning was a bit different last year. Right now, he's playing most of the time, maybe sometimes as a false nine, or coming a lot more in the final third and being the one that's supposed to be finishing the chances. So yeah,
and he's not playing through injury as well right now, as far as we know. Yeah.
Exactly.
No, I agree.
No, on the other hand, 2 assists from Alistair Johnston in 2 games. So a lot of talks about Johnston not necessarily be able to play that, or maybe not his best position, that right wing back position. But he's
growing.
producing assists. And if you remember, guys, last year when we did our breakdown of the year, we were praising Mathieu Chouanière, and even saying that Zachary Beauguillard had a pretty good season in the circumstances, but the problem was not a lot of assists to show for. Alistair Johnston has 2 assists in 2 games already. So do you think he adapted to that right wing back role? Is this his role really?
I'm not 100% sold yet, if I'm being completely honest. I think he does still have a more conservative profile than I would normally expect in like a modern wingback. But I definitely think he's learning a lot, and I think he's growing, and he's adding that dimension of delivering interesting crosses into his game, which maybe might have been lacking a bit early in the season. So I think he's growing. I think he's learning, and I think it is a position he could be quite adept at.
I think that right now, I don't know if you guys realize, but during that game, Wilfred Nancy played.
Oh, the lopsided formation.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah, I was about to talk about, because we always talk about tactics and his system. We'll have to bring that. So bring it on, Eddie. It's
so while having the ball,
Lassie
wasn't a left wing back anymore,
and
Alistair Johnston wasn't a right wing back anymore. So we've seen Alistair Johnston play more as a right back, and Lassie played as a left winger. And it was very, very clear. And that's why I love Stade Saputo and the press box, because you're able to see the lines properly, and you're able to see the game as you should be able, as you're supposed to see the game, right? And it was very, very clear that the intentions of that team were to play in a sort of 4-3-3 formation most of the time when they had the ball. And because Vancouver didn't have the ball much, so most of the game we were playing that formation of 4-3-3, and I like that. I think that Alistair Johnston is a player that's very good as a right back, and
Yeah.
that's why we've seen him play, I think, a very good game against Vancouver. Now, lastly, of course, he was a bit better than the past, right? Because he didn't have those defensive responsibilities that we had
Exactly.
before, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so I like that, and I think that's why we've seen a better Alistair Johnston. Now, when I asked him at the presser at Johnston, I'm like, two assists in 2 games, and he's like, I don't like to see the stats because for me, the game at Red Bull Arena was one of my worst games of the season.
Oh.
And I was like, man, you're tough on yourself,
It's
right?
competitive.
Oh my God, we got another
Competitive.
one.
Yeah. So, but I like that. I think he's getting better and better.
Mhm.
I think communication with his teammates is a lot better. I feel
Mhm.
that he's finding his place in that team on the pitch, and that's
Yeah.
I think it's just amazing. That's exactly what you want to see from your new signing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
100%.
I think it's cool too, because Wilfred Nancy hinted about it, bringing other looks coming into the season, tactical looks, and I mean, the way he brought it is very agile. You set up like you always do, and you
Mhm.
play on the strengths of your players finally. Because I think Alistair Johnston is a very, very good fullback who can help the
Yeah.
attacking phase, but maybe not necessarily play as high as a wingback. Lassie, his best position is his only position is at left wing. His only position. So now you're very flexible in your tactics, something that a lot of people criticize Wilfred Nancy for. Well, me number one, but it's cool. It's cool that to see that now he's bringing different looks, and when Jim Curtin, going into Philly, Jim Curtin's gonna sit down, look at the tape, and say, okay, it's not exactly what he usually does. So now you're planting a seed in other coaches' heads, and they have to prepare differently. So that's very interesting. I think it was a long time coming, but I was convinced that whenever we were gonna change, like just show something different, we would have success, because the other teams were so prepared to what we always showed that
Yeah.
anything different would throw them off, and that's what happened against Vancouver. So it's looking good. It's good, man. It's good. What was good is that Montreal completely dominated the first half. Coming into halftime, how did you feel, guys?
I felt disturbingly good. I guess it was the best I'd felt about Montreal this season. I guess it was the most complete half. Even though they didn't necessarily trouble Thomas Hasal as much as perhaps they could or should have. But yeah, definitely didn't look like Vancouver were offering very much up offensively. And I said, oh my goodness, is this the long-awaited clean sheet? Oh.
Man. Yeah, I was confident too. I just wanted, Montreal to score more, earlier. And that's the only thing. I was like, I just hope that it's not going to come and bite us in the ass, because that's what usually happens, right? That's exactly what usually happens when you only score a goal and you're dominating. Sometimes there's a moment of lack of concentration or anything, and you get scored on, right? So yeah, I was happy of the performance, but I really wanted us to score a second goal, but unfortunately it didn't happen. But yeah, I was confident because I think we were really really dominating. We're really a class apart from the Whitecaps in the first half.
Hedy, you were asking for a second goal, but you didn't have to wait too long, because at the start of the second, it came to Romel Kyoto. I really like that goal. Nice build-up play, and super cool in front of goal by Kyoto. And this is something that I want us to talk really about Kyoto's play on that game, on that play, because there's Sunusi, there's Mihailovic who links up perfectly, but there's an old saying, between strikers, that you always have a bit more time than you think you have. But yet sometimes you panic a bit. You have the ball in your foot and you just say, I'll shoot, whatever will happen, but I can't get it blocked or I can't get dispossessed in this position. How cool was Romel Kyoto, who's pretty hot-headed as a player, we know, in this particular situation?
That's
No.
amazing.
It was great composure. Not the first time though that we've seen him, I think, finish from a close finish like that, with great precision. So I wasn't like overly surprised because it's kind of what I've come to expect. I mean, we've seen him put away way tougher goals than he did, but we've also seen lots of strikers blaze it over the bar when they're that close.
Yeah, I love that with Romel. Now, of course, sometimes it just doesn't work, right? We do remember that sitter that he missed last year, right? Like right in front of goal. So it does happen that he missed, the goal, like even if it's like open in front of him. But I like that. To be honest, I was a bit uncertain about the goal. I was pretty sure it was offside. When I was looking at the play, live, I was like, okay, no, it's offside. It's impossible. He had too much time. He was all alone, and the whole play was done, in the penalty box, and I was like, yeah, no, for sure he's offside, and he wasn't.
Be a late flag,
no,
like they always do.
Well, he even stopped. He stopped and waited for the ref.
Yeah,
But
exactly. And
sorry, Eddie. Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say for defenders, that's the classic play of the outside defender on the play that just falls asleep and doesn't follow the line, and the center backs went up. Center backs were well placed, and if the left back was it Gutierrez on that play?
No, I don't think Gutierrez was
Gutierrez
on
hasn't come in yet. No,
I forgot his name, but
Javane Brown was the left back, wasn't he?
Yeah, it was. He was right back.
It
Brown.
was. Anyways, the Vancouver's left back just completely fell asleep, and that's the dangers of trying to play these lines in tight spaces. You don't want to drop too deep to open up a shot, but if you miss that offside line in your penalty area,
Dahomey, that's who it was.
Dahomey, there you go.
Yeah,
so
but it's weird that he was playing there because he's not at all. He's
they
playing as a left wing back, right?
Yeah. They had everybody in their dog out of position, though.
Exactly.
I was surprised they didn't have a keeper up at striker.
So for defenders, a good sequence to look how to organize in your what not to do to organize in your box.
and I really want to praise a bit more Romel Kyoto because he didn't have a good game at all.
It was average.
Yeah, exactly. But it was average because he scored a goal.
Yeah.
If he hadn't scored a goal, we would have said, what a bad game he had, right? And that's what I love about these types of players. It's the kind of players that even if they're having a bad game, they'll still be able to bring something to the table. Now, this time it was a goal, but sometimes it's just a link-up play. It's opening up space for someone. There's always something. And Romel Kyoto, that's what he brings to this team. So whenever he's average, he's still an added value for the team, an added value to the team. So I love that. I love that. Really great player. Really great player.
After the second goal, Montreal switched off a bit, and it was all Vancouver for them on. What I want to know is why do you think this happens to Montreal often? For sure, you have 90 minutes. You can't be on the same vibe always. You're gonna have up and downs, but that was something, guys.
I cannot. Like how, especially with Vancouver missing as many important players as they were missing. I'm like, Ryan Gold had to go off injured in the first half. And I mean, I'm like, okay, well, great. Their X factor has left. I mean, not great. Obviously, I don't wish the player ill, but great for Montreal. And then lo and behold, they get that second goal and they're like, oh, okay, let's see how hard we can make this for ourselves. We really want to work for our win bonus. I don't know.
I really don't know what happens, but for me, it's the trade of young teams, right? When you have a team that doesn't have a lot of experience, that's exactly what happens, right? So maybe the fact that they're that we're about to win that third win in a row, they got complacent somewhere. I know that Sartini did a few changes that maybe change the course of the game. I'm sure we're going to talk about it later. So I don't know exactly what goes on in the head of CF Montreal, of the players of CF Montreal. Sometimes they completely switch off. But I think it's something that, yeah, exactly. But it's something that the coaching staff has to work on. And then it's going to be interesting to see how that evolves, during the season.
If it evolves. I'm all about
does.
giving up hope.
Well,
Man,
eventually
you're not allowed to be pessimistic, man.
No, actually,
You're
and
not
when I ran into Tate from Vermont at the tailgate, he said, "Please try to be more try to be more optimistic." And I was like, "I predicted 2-2 draw." I was close, Tate.
Now, since we're talking about Tate, let's put his question here, like right away, if you want to.
Why
Sam,
not?
or
Yeah,
do you want to
go
wait
ahead,
until
man.
the end? Perfect. So Tate asked us a question. And he's like, I'd like to get the Ball is Round thoughts on the opening day attendance of only 12,000 at Stade Saputo. What has to happen over the next 2 years to have a sellout in 2024 for the Saputo opener?
Okay.
Yeah.
Got all night, man.
Sam, do you want to start?
Well, there's a few factors right now, right? There's still people who don't necessarily want to go in big crowds because of the pandemic. So maybe that plays a bit. And for sure there is the part that the club has to get back to some supporters and make amends in a sense too. But there's just occasionals who won't go out on a cold day too. So there's so many factors, and what has to be done in the next 2 years to have a sellout.
Wins.
Of course, but in this situation, maybe play the first game in July with Nacho Piattis and the thing. You know what I mean? Like it's not something that's just gonna happen in 2 years. I think it's something that the club must envision in a longer term project, because you won't turn this around in 2 years. I think you need wins for sure, but marketing is off. I'm talking to casual soccer fans, so sport fans, like co-workers, like friends of friends and stuff. And when I say, there's the first game at Stade Saputo, oh, I didn't know. No, it should. If it's that big of a deal, it has to be common knowledge, and they just have to put that in a common knowledge thing in the city. And eventually, it's because they're relying so much on talk. I'm gonna talk to a friend, who's gonna talk to a friend. I didn't see much publicity for it. The marketing is off, but I don't know, man. It's for Tate, he was talking about 2024. I don't think there's something they can do right now to have a sellout in 2024. It's gonna be a longer process for me, because we've seen sellouts in the past. Zlatan when he comes to Montreal, Rooney.
I suspect Insigne when he comes to Montreal, there will be a whole lot of Italian Montrealers showing up for their very first game.
But don't forget, these people are football fans.
Yep.
So why aren't they there for
Yeah, but okay, hear me a bit, okay? Let's say Insigne comes to Montreal, and he's gonna come at one point to Montreal.
Yeah, sure.
And Montreal beat Toronto 3-0. Don't you think that those Italians that came for the game would look at Montreal differently?
No, I'd be mad that Insigne lost.
I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
I'm honestly not sure either. I'm
pretty sure.
Yeah.
You get at least 50% of them that will look Montreal in a different way.
So I'll have a question for you, Hadi. Now, you remember when Zlatan came?
Yeah.
Okay.
We lost.
We lost against 10 men, LA. We had a horrible game.
Yeah,
so
of course.
Do you think if we had played a fantastic game, we had won 4-1 against the LA?
Yeah.
The people would have came back later on.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe not being season tickets
would have planted
holders,
a seed
right?
in
but
people's
maybe
minds
they will
forward.
Because now they look at the Zlatan, and they look at the game. They lost against 10 man, they're so not good. So I only come when there's stars in the team, right? But if the team wins against the other team that has a star in it, then, oh, you know what, man, he was playing against and Zlatan was in the team and they won 3-0. Oh,
Well-
wow, you know? So next time around, sorry, Eve, 1 sec. So next time around, they're like, you know what? It's the team that beat Zlatan 3-0. And this is how you make new fans. It's as simple as that. Sorry, go ahead, Eve.
No, I'm just thinking, like, you know, it's not the first time teams with stars have come to Montreal and Montreal has beaten them. For example, you know, they beat Chicago when Chicago had Bastian Schweinsteiger, who might not be like a guy who necessarily speaks a whole lot to a ton of Montrealers, but still an epic footballer. That's just kind of like one semi-recent example that crosses my mind. I'm sure there are others that I'm just forgetting. But
It didn't happen much.
No.
But there can be a point that right after the Champions League push, in which we went to the final 2014.
2015.
The Champions League final?
Yeah, 2015.
Yeah, 2015.
Well, there was some record low attendances right after, like in weeks and months.
It would have been too emotional.
But that's normal, Sam. That's normal because again, you lived something during the final, right? You know, the average fan is not going to become an actual fan just right away. He's just going to wait. He's just going to be on the sidelines and he's going to look at the team from afar. And he's going to say, oh, you know what? Oh, this team is continuing on getting results. This team is continuing on winning stuff. So I'm going to go watch another game. And then I'm going to watch another game. And then I'm going to... But if the team continues on losing, man, they arrived to the final and they're lost. Yeah. And now from now on, it doesn't really matter if I go or not, right? Results are going to bring the fans back to the stadium. It's as simple as that. Now, of course, you named the other few factors, you know, the pandemic and everything. Yes, okay, the factors are there. But I think the main factor is that, unfortunately, a lot of people talk about, you know, the fans that were, you know, the ultras and the 132 that were banned and everything. Yes, of course, it's only a few people. It's 100 people. But those 100 people, they talk to another 100 people. And those 100 people talk to another 100. And
they were very loud while they were at the stadium.
Exactly. So unfortunately, you know, it's bad publicity, right? And this doesn't help the attendance. So what I like, and we said it in the last episode, what I like is that Gabriel Gervais is trying to build bridges again. And I think that's very positive. And as soon as we're going to see those bridges become more and more solid, then we're going to see some fights. Maybe not all. There's a lot of people that are really mad and will never come back to the stadium. But others that are a bit less extremists, maybe I can call them that way, will maybe come back to the stadium and, you know, say, you know what, I'm going to give them another chance because I love my team. I love my city and I love the soccer in this stadium. So, you know, just give it a bit more time, a bit more wins, and I think that the people will come back. Now, of course, it's so sad to see only 12,000. Really so sad.
Yeah, it is. For me, though, I kind of think kind of what Justin was talking about, you know, for Philadelphia, because that's obviously a model that I think Montreal is hoping to emulate. Like for them, you know, I mean, Philadelphia's had a decent thing going now for the past several seasons in a row. And he kind of mentioned to us that it's kind of just now people are starting to wake up to it. And without that star power to, you know, make people listen to the ad on the radio or to make people, you know, call into the radio show or like the TV interview, that'll be really cool and exciting. Montreal, I think for them, it is kind of a longer shot, kind of like you said, Sam. You got to wait for that process to build itself out if Montreal is going to continue to follow that model of pushing their youth and then signing kind of some reliable veterans to fill in the gaps. So, you know, Justin said to us not very long ago, that I mean, Philadelphia was a serious team for the past, 3-4 years now, in the playoffs and stuff. And, you know, they won Supporters Shield recently. And just now, people in Philadelphia are starting to wake up to the fact that it's an exciting team to watch. And it's one of the best teams in MLS right now. So I think, you know, the factors that you mentioned, obviously, that you all already mentioned, but nonetheless, I think also that component of it is you're going to have to wait to be patient for the results to draw people in, with the process being what it is.
Yeah, for sure. It's a headache for Gabriel Gervais, but it's what can you do? You just have to go there, and I think the best thing is really what he wants to do is to really have conversation with these people who jumped from the ship, and decided that they ain't going back to the stadium for now, or maybe some people say they're never putting their foot back in the stadium. With maybe, I'm pretty sure that with wins, with some very good arguments and a straight talk, no, now they have to get all the corporate stuff out of it and just fan to fan conversation, because when Gilmore was talking, it was all about Montreal Inc. It was all about corporate stuff. And there's a lot of people that you can't get their attention with these talks. You need to have something that they can relate to, and relate to is their love for football, and they're fans of the game and of the team. So of course, Gabriel Gervais, there is that work of working with companies, with sponsors, with corporations to help the club, but that's not how you're gonna get the fans. And that was a big mistake from the previous administration. And I think that Gabriel Gervais won't go in that direction, and that may bring people back, I think. So anything to add, Addy? You had some...
We said everything, I think, but we cut our review of the game just to answer your question there, Tate. So I hope you got the answer you wanted.
And it was really nice to say hi to you on Saturday.
Yeah, I missed you, man. I hope I'll see you next time.
He brought his friend, not his wife, and I hope his friend enjoyed his first trip.
Oh, nice. So I hope I'll see you next time. I'm gonna pass by to the tailgate. I haven't.
Make sure you get there early, or I'll be too tipsy.
Yeah, I'll come too.
Yes.
Guys, just go back to the game.
Yeah.
Finally, we saw some Ahmed Hamdi minutes. It was good to see him. How did you rate his performance, guys? He came in for Sunusi Ibrahim in the 74th minute.
I mean, he's not played all season.
I think he was good.
He was
I
okay.
liked what he proposed. He was very fluid. He did exactly what, it showed that he did exactly what Nancy asked from him. Just really, very fluid play, short passes, playing quick, one or two touches. I liked what he proposed. Now, of course, he's not fully fit in order to really make a difference, but he's been pretty good. He's been pretty good.
He was okay. I mean, he managed to pick up a yellow card in the short time he was out there. I was like, Ahmed, really? But then Nima Sagafi loves himself a yellow card, so take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, exactly.
And so anyway, hey, it's Michael.
I want to answer Michael because I love him so much. Hey, Michael, thanks for listening to us as usual. EFTN Canada, guys. Anything about Whitecaps, that's where you get it. He says it's idealistic to say fans that come to see a player will come back. We've had people in Vancouver come to see solely Lampard and Rooney wearing their kits. Vast majority have no interest in MLS. I completely agree with you. But again, I think that if those players come to Montreal and Montreal beat that team, convincingly, I think that those. Yeah, but that's what's supposed to happen in order for those fans to come back. And unfortunately, the reason why they haven't come back is because we've never won those games by a big margin or by 2 or 3 goals. So it's as simple as that. So I don't think that they all will come back, but I'm pretty sure that a few of them will come back, maybe 20%, 30%, 40%. And that's already that's a way of winning fans back. So
but the point is, someone who goes to Vancouver, let's say with a Lampard or a Rooney jersey, it's someone who loves football, someone who watches football. So how can the clubs work? They have to have something in place, they have to have a strategy to bring these people into liking MLS, into liking their local teams. for sure wins will help, but that's not the only thing.
Dude.
And
man.
like fans of the Stars are generally fans of the finished product kind of teams. You know what I mean? They're not necessarily willing
I
to
agree.
to tolerate, you know, the youthful mistakes and whatnot that we've come to understand that we kind of do have to be ready to tolerate in Montreal based on the model that they're proposing. So I don't know how you reconcile those people with the big star jerseys versus the people you know, who truly love like everything about soccer.
I agree, guys. I agree. Again, I have all my friends love soccer, right? All my friends, okay, and my close friends, right? Uh, Outside of the Twitter world and the journalism world, right? Uh, Maybe one of them, yeah, there's one of them that I share a season ticket with, that really comes to the games. All the rest never do, never do. There's one of them that really tried. He got a season ticket for maybe a couple of years. The third year, he's like, no, I'm not gonna renew, man. They're just not good enough.
Yeah.
And you know, unfortunately, like I'm like, no, but you know, they did the playoffs, you know, they're trying, you know.
I'm always
But
doing
like,
that
you know,
too,
at
man.
the end of the day,
Oh, no.
you know, at the end of the day, some people will never change their mind, right? And that's okay. But all I'm saying is, again, it's maybe 20% that will change their mind. So start with those 20%, and then we'll get somewhere else, right? And then, you know, the fire will take, right? And other people will come, right?
Yeah.
So
But Montreal
again,
tried that strategy, man. I remember it was year one of Rémi Garde, if I'm not mistaken, and every time they would post something on Twitter, on Facebook, it was, we're playing against
Oh my God, Almiron, yes.
Almiron and Martinez, Atlanta, and our fans would bash the impact
I
and
was not
saying, "Oh,
impressed by
you
that.
have to promote our team, not the other
yeah,
team."
true,
But
Yeah.
true.
you know, if you're gonna promote your team, you need something to work on promotion, and
Yeah.
our
Yeah.
promotion was the other team stars. So you know,
That's
it's a big mess. You know, you have to know where to start, because everyone has a different opinion on how they go, how they'll feel when something like that comes out. So but I really don't think that hoping opposition teams bring stars to Stade Saputo will bring season ticket holders. I hope
I can confirm it will alienate some.
exactly. Well, rightly so, I think, because you know, we had Piatti, we had we had a pretty good team in a sense, even though the
We had a
results
lovely little team.
yeah, nah, didn't work out. So yeah, it's I think it's a mess, but eventually they get it sorted out. I think Gabriel Gervais is there for that, so he'll get it sorted out, I'm pretty sure, guys. Guys, let's just finish our our game
Sorry,
recap.
guys.
Okay.
No, but it's a good. Anyways,
We have feelings.
no, but we had that in our program. Anyways, we were gonna talk about the 12.
Yeah, I should have waited until the end of the review
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
game. But like,
That's all good.
we talked about Tate, and I'm like, man, like,
Yeah, let's
we
bring
have
it
to
in.
talk
Yeah,
about this
nah, sure,
question,
man,
right?
sure. So, guys, just quickly, at the end of the game, Ricketts thought he scored the equalizer, but it was ruled out by VAR. Of course, there was a sigh of relief, but now there was people online saying, "Oh, again we concede, again we can't hold the lead." How did you feel when you were seeing these comments? Because my feeling was, well, he was offside, so that's irrelevant. You know, did you feel that way?
I mean, it was darn close.
Was
You know, it was darn close, and I think
Pessimistic Eve is
no,
dad.
but I mean Montreal, like what they were suffering those last few minutes of that match, man.
Man, if that happened the other way around, you would have said, they saw it coming. And now it happens to Montreal. It's like, it was darn close. So, man, come on. Dude.
I was
It's
this
so
close
simple,
to getting.
man.
I was this close to getting my prediction right. This close.
Yeah.
This close. No, that's how I love to be right. No, I think definitely Montreal have probably had the soccer gods frown upon them a little bit with VAR at the start of the season, and with those early goals being chalked off, in the first couple of Champions League and league matches. So I think Montreal was definitely due. Definitely grateful that the TV cameras were set up at the opportune and correct angles, because in Montreal you never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah, true.
But nonetheless, I would have preferred that they have a more confident closing of a match.
Yeah, that's unfortunately the story in Montreal. But credits to Sartini that made quite a few
Yeah.
substitutions that really changed the course of the game. Cavallini coming in at halftime, so important, and I think he weighed so much on the defense that they were a bit lost at sometimes. He was very aggressive. He's the kind of a
Cavallini,
player that really gets under your skin, right? So, the kind of players that Justin likes. So yeah, that was a pretty cool move. And then afterwards, he made some really bold changes, right? Giving Toussaint Ricketts coming for Veselinovic, or even Gutierrez for Blackman. So at the end, I think they were playing with there wasn't any.
There was not a center back, no,
at all. Really.
No. Michael reminded me of that because I visited him after. Yeah.
I was sitting at a game next to Alexander Gangarizik, who came to Montreal. So I was sitting next to him, and he told me he's like, man, we're playing without center backs. I'm like, what? So that's pretty bold, and I like that, and it almost worked, right? It almost worked for Sartini. So props for that. It's a nice try. That's the way you need to do stuff in order to get that extra point that might be a difference maker at the end of the year. Unfortunately, it didn't happen for him, and thank God for us.
And with all of that, it makes 3 wins in a row, 4 undefeated. It's a feel-good moment. I hope it's not the only one we'll have this season. I'm pretty sure it's not, but it's good. It's good. It's a good moment now, and we'll embrace it, right?
I want to ask a question, Eve. How are you feeling, man?
Yeah.
Oh my God. So I was like beating. I feel really bad. I usually stand next to Sean in 127. And when things happen on the field, I tend to hit him. And so I feel really bad. Yes. I feel really bad because I definitely hit him a couple of times when that was all going on. And I had also turned my back to the play entirely because as I watched Montreal, recoil deeper and deeper into their own half, I said, I know what's gonna happen. I've seen this show before. So I was beating poor Sean in frustration, and then I was beating him with relief. So anyway, I'm really sorry for all of the violence in the stands.
Again, how do you feel now? She's trying to be evasive, right? She doesn't want to say, I'm happy. Thank God.
No.
Playing well, got 3 wins in a row, 4 games unbeaten.
Maybe if you let me talk, I'll get there. But I had to apologize for my violence. I really did. And I did, to be fair, like in person and stuff. Please don't ban me from the stadium. I'm not really that violent. No, overall, I'm really pleased for Montreal. I'm pleased that Stade Saputo got a 3-point opening. Pumped to see. I really enjoyed that first chipped assist from Alistair Johnston. I thought that was great vision from him. And yeah, overall, I think there is more positive to build on. Despite my feelings about the end of the game, I think there is more positive to build on than maybe what I've alluded to.
Still confident about the, I think, 12th place that you gave to the team at the beginning of the season?
I said 11th.
11th.
Yeah. We're still early.
Confident?
We still have.
I mean, it's really early in the season.
I'm just making fun of you.
I know you're just poking at me. You love to poke the bear.
I love it.
But guys, you know what? Unless you guys have anything to add on the game, now that we're talking about Vancouver had something interesting happen this week. They asked to be included back in contention to have games in the 2026 World Cup. Now it's an easy question to answer. I think we wanted to talk about it. How nice is it for them? And how do we feel as Montrealers? Our name was in there for a long time before.
I'm so happy for you, Vancouver. I'm so happy. I mean, props to them. Vancouver initially didn't think that they'd be able to support a candidacy for World Cup hosting, and they backed out. But then obviously they saw a big opportunity available to them. They're willing to put in grass turf at BC Place if they're able to host, and they're willing to commit to it. So they were able to reevaluate and say, wait a minute, like this is a fantastic opportunity with the largest sporting event in the world that who knows when we're next going to host it. Probably none of the people in power will be alive. So I'm thrilled for Vancouver, but my God, am I ever bitter.
Bitter. I would say angry, jealous, very jealous, very jealous.
Getting political, so watch out. No.
Yeah, I'm just really jealous. I just can't believe again that we took that decision. I just can't get it around my head, and I can't believe that I live in Canada and I'm gonna have to travel. I live in one of the biggest city in Canada. I think number 2 or number 3, if I'm not mistaken. Number 2, I think, behind Toronto.
It depends on where you like. If you count just proper or you amalgamate all the little
whatever in the top
I can't count.
four cities in Canada. Top 3, let's say, cities in Canada, and I have to travel in my own country in order to see games.
And it's freaking expensive to travel in Canada.
Oh, and if you're going to Vancouver, you're not traveling an hour.
No, it's five and a half hours.
5-hour flight, man.
Exactly. So I can't believe this is happening, man. It's not normal. It's just not normal. It's I don't know, but I'm happy for Vancouver. Maybe I'm happy because maybe that's gonna make me travel to Vancouver because I haven't been there yet.
It's so nice.
Yeah, everybody's telling me it's so nice, and
yeah.
I promised Alexander that I'll go and hit him up and go drink a beer with him. I'm not sure if Michael still is still listening, but I would love to go and meet him too. So I really want to go there, so it will be an opportunity to go there. And you know what? I'll spend my money in Vancouver. I won't spend it in Montreal.
That's what's gonna happen, right? Because it's the same thing for sure. For sure, I'm gonna go see games either in the US.
Oh, I'll sell a kidney.
Oh, for sure. So it's now in order for this to become an investment, because I think it is an investment. You have to use a lot of money, right? It's gonna cost a lot of money, but I think economically, at the end of the day, it's gonna be an investment more than just throwing money away for people to come. So I'm very disappointed, but I don't know all the tenants and stuff, but it's not a good look on the city, in my opinion.
Michael, I will walk Annie the dog in exchange for like a little corner of your floor.
Robbie put a comment.
Yeah,
Soccer is not important enough to people here. Robbie, I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure because I've seen a lot of people start to turn around and really appreciate soccer more and more now.
Yeah, just to say to people that are listening to the pod afterwards. So Robbie said soccer is not important to enough people
bad.
Here. So, and Sam is saying he doesn't agree. Go ahead, Sam.
Yeah. No. I think it's getting there. Maybe we're a couple of years too early, but I think it is getting important more and more because kids are playing soccer more than ever. I grew up playing soccer. I played hockey too, and people, there's not as much people playing hockey and baseball and other sports. A lot of kids are playing soccer, man. And
it's an accessible sport, relatively speaking, because hockey, the equipment costs an arm and a leg.
And baseball, the same thing. So listen, these kids growing up, in 10 years and 12 years, they're gonna be adults, and they gotta have, they're gonna have the desire to buy tickets to go see World Cup game. I think I think it's just a timing thing that maybe we have the feeling that it's not important
Mhm.
enough. We're just a couple of years early, in my opinion. It's gonna be important very soon, but we're just not there yet. That's just the disappointing thing, guys.
Yeah, if we continue on having good results as a national team, if Montreal, Vancouver, Toronto continue having good results in MLS, if the CanPL continues on getting good results, and they are, by now having a spot in the Champions League starting, I think 2023, that's gonna help grow the game even more. So I know that a lot of people, that older people are a bit lost hope, because it was supposed to be a great sport in the 80s and it never really picked up. But right now we're in a different mindset. Like, we have a very, very interesting national team, a good league. I think it would be very, very sad if the soccer culture doesn't grow, and it is growing. Like,
I will. It will.
I remember when I started, wanting to be in journalism 4 years ago, and I look at soccer right now, and I see a very big difference in the last 5 years. A very, very big difference. When I first started, it was so hard to get your articles read, to get the word spread out. Now it's really simple for someone that starts right now. It's a lot simpler. People are
Mhm.
there on social media and everywhere. It's interesting. It's becoming a sport to watch right now because of how good Canada is. So
Yeah.
yeah, no, I'm optimistic about
Yeah.
about soccer for the future. Unfortunately, the deciders for the 2026 World Cup are not really the up and coming generation,
No. Big
right?
hockey fans.
No. Also
Not
that.
especially. I just think they're just not. They don't have the good vision. So that's my opinion.
Yeah, guys, in Vancouver, we're talking about Vancouver. There was something
Mhm.
cool at the start of the week. The Canadian women national team played their second game against Nigeria, a tougher game, right, for our women, and a 2-2 draw. I'll go quickly on the lineup: Sheridan, Becky, Zadorsky, Buchanan, Chapman, Scott, Quinn, Prince, Fleming, Leon, and Haidema. Guys, a very different lineup than the first game between the two
Mhm.
sides. What did you think about what was your feeling when the lineup came out?
Oh,
I
Beth
expected that.
Friesman. Yeah, go
Yeah.
ahead, go ahead. Eve.
No, I was gonna say I expected a lot of changes for sure,
Mhm.
100%. And I think especially because Shalina Zadorsky at the Arnold Clark Cup, she had largely been left to the side in favor of the Jill Buchanan pairing. I was quite confident that she would get a look in, and I know Sam, you were real keen to see her get a chance.
Yeah, I've talked about it often.
Yeah, but go ahead, Hattie. Sorry.
Oh no, Beth Friesman tried something new, right?
Hmm.
The lineup without Christine Sinclair, obviously, with Heidema being up top alone, with Leon that's usually on the bench, starting, Prince that we haven't seen much because Deanne Rose for me is a better player, and she's
Hmm.
showing that she's a better player. Here, the another central defense, like you said, Becky back at the right fullback position, which is a position that she's pretty good
Yeah.
at. I love her playing that role. So she was trying something new. It didn't work that well, even if the goals that were scored against Canada are some like really
Oh
flukes and
man.
really unfortunate goals to concede. Um, and I think Zadorsky uh, is the culprit in one of the goals, right? She's the one that
Yeah.
really made a mistake, right? So now she did score a goal. That
Redeemed
was really
herself though,
nice for
yeah.
her. Yeah, that was really, really nice for her. But yeah, no, I wasn't really surprised because Beth Reese, it's the time right now to try stuff, right? So
Of course.
it's
Hmm.
friendlies, it's celebrations. They did, the whole thing for Labé in the last game, so it was time
Hmm.
to really try something new.
Guys,
No, I agree.
guys, we only scored when Kirsten Sinclair was subbed on at halftime. Are we too dependent on her?
I mean, Montreal had a slew of really good chances. Like there was an off the line clearance in the first half, and there were some shots I think off the post, if I'm not mistaken, or the crossbar. So it wasn't that Montreal.
Yeah, you
It
said
wasn't.
Montreal. I was like, what
Oh
are you
God,
talking
I'm
about?
so sorry. That's why you're giving me the side eye. Okay, my
Yeah, I was like,
apologies.
is she talking about the same game?
No,
That's
I'm talking about the Canadian national team. My apologies. So they had several really good opportunities in the first half, but like I said, there were clearances off the line,
yeah.
and off the woodwork and so on. So I think a bit of it was that they were kind of unlucky not to score, and that Nigeria's defense was holding up really well.
Mhm.
But obviously, I mean, it's kind of a lovely hero's arc when Christine Sinclair comes on to save the dignity of the team.
Yeah, and I think that she brings that serenity, I think, up in the offensive,
Mm.
tier. People know that she's here, so they're like kind of relieved, like the other players on the
Mm.
team. So I think it's a mental also
Yeah.
blockage, I think, about the other players thinking, oh, we don't have Christine Sinclair, who's going to score, who's going to score. So everybody's feeling pressure because, Christine is not here. I don't know. I'm just speculating, but I hope that it's not that because she's
Uh,
not young anymore, right? So
Yeah, man.
she's not going to be here for 10 years, right? She may be here for a couple of years still, but I don't know. I don't know. It's funny that they only scored when she came on, and she's
mm-hmm.
the one that scored, right? She scored a goal, so
A nice chip.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So yeah, am I worried? Yes. But yeah, as Eve said, they did have a few chances before. So yeah, am I worried? Yes, but should I be worried? Maybe not.
Maybe not. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm not worried yet. And if your resident pessimist isn't worried yet, deep calming
We
breaths.
good. Guys, we only saw a few minutes from Cal, Vien, and Alidou on the pitch. What was your feeling seeing them play so scarcely, and are they in danger of not being called up in the future?
Oh, hard to say. I think it kind of varies from player to player. Like I feel that the hierarchy in the midfield is right now it's just so set in stone really. Like you have Quinn, you have Deanne Rose, you have Julia Grosso, and so I mean it's hard to get in behind those players honestly, and Jessie Fleming to say the least. So I kind of feel like no matter what, you're at a bit of a disadvantage. And it seems like Canada, no matter what competition they're in, they're always stuck calling up a really small squad relative to like when they're in competitive play. But when it comes to Evelyn Vieng, I can't explain entirely because she's been in decent form with Kristianstad. So I can't explain why she didn't get more of a look in. And then I do think Gabrielle Carl, I generally like her form. I generally like what she brings when she shows up with the Canadian team for her cameos. I think it's just kind of 6 of one and half a dozen of the other, maybe.
Yeah, I agree for Alidou. Exactly what Eve said. It's going to be pretty hard for her to be called back. But even if Beth Friesman had some very good words for her, right? Last time she was called up, so I don't know, but I'm very very surprised for mostly Gabrielle Carl because even if in the Olympics, I don't know if you guys remember, but in the first 23 in the squad of 23, she was left out. She was the reserve, right? So already there was something that Beth Friesman wasn't really saying, and then the Olympic Committee said that 26 was okay, so Gabrielle Carl went to Tokyo for the Olympics, but it seems that I don't know. Maybe Beth Friesman doesn't really like what she sees in Gabrielle Carl. Maybe not. She doesn't like it, but she thinks that other players can do the job better than her. It's weird because when you look at a player like Carl, what's nice about it is that she can play as a left back, she can play as a right back, but she can also play in the midfield. So, for a national team coach, that should be priceless, right? So I'm not really sure why we're not really seeing her more. Evelyn Vian, I kind of understand even if she's in a good form. I kind of understand why she's not playing, because I think Brisbane has so many options up front. Like
She
really,
does.
like
Yeah.
really so many options. Now, I do see that Evelyn Vian should be called up, but I kind of understand. And, the other players in her mind are maybe, the ones that are ahead of Evelyn Vian, even if, in my opinion, they shouldn't be ahead of her.
Mm-hmm.
So Haidema and Leon and Prince and
Lacasse.
Rose and even Lacasse, I'm not sure if she's ahead of but she had more playing time than Vian.
Yeah, that's probably why I'm even in the Arnold Clark Cup, she had more playing time. So yeah.
No, not
Then
in
Gabrielle Carl.
No. Then if I'm talking about Lacasse.
Oh, sorry, Evelyn Vian. My bad. Oh my god, I was thinking of Gabrielle Carl.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
No.
sorry.
So
Evelyn
yeah,
Vian, you're right. Yeah.
So we'll see what's gonna happen, but it's gonna be interesting. I just hope that I don't know. I'm not a big fan of Ali Du, even if she's a good player, but I hope that we'll see more of Carl and Via in the next few windows.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely, guys. Last question on and that's more about the two games against Nigeria. If any, what lessons has Canada picked up from these two encounters?
Wake up on your set pieces.
For sure.
Yeah,
the two goals that were conceded were on set pieces.
But we scored on set pieces too, Gilles, Zadorsky. So
yeah.
Okay, so wake up on the first on the defensive half of set pieces. You're good to go on the offensive half.
Yeah, I agree with that statement, but I also agree that please do not underestimate teams, even if they're ranked in the 39th in the world, because the FIFA ranking for women is not as accurate as the one for men.
No.
And even on the men's side, even if you're number 1 in the world, you're playing against the number 25 in the world. It doesn't mean that it's necessarily a win, right?
No.
For sure.
So FIFA rankings are not really, something that you can
watermark.
judge. Exactly. It's not something that you can judge a team on. So yeah, I think they were a bit complacent, and I hope that we're not going to see that again, because now the games are coming very, very fast, and the important games are coming very, very fast. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, definitely. So that kind of wraps up part 1, guys, I think, right?
Yeah,
I think so.
So let's jump right into part 2 of the show and the fixture on our shows, social media.
Social media. Let's start with the small video.
The literal tweet.
Yes.
Alrighty, so I bring you once again 5 tweets today. Our first one comes from Tim Patterson at Timbit Patterson, who, in response to a tweet where Montreal was calling out Alistair Johnston's 2 assists in 2 matches, he replied, "Not to mention this devastating tackle using his Jedi powers with a video clip attached. And just in the event that my co-hosts or our listeners viewers in this case, because if you're listening on audio, you're not going to see anything. Just in case you had not gotten a chance to watch, I did download the video for you."
Nice.
So here we go.
Oh man.
Oh man. Oh, Christian Dahomey, what are you doing, my son?
Oh, I hate that. I really hate that.
Me too.
I think it was a funny take.
Yeah.
That gives, the right for any soccer hater to hate our game even more.
Well, that's what they hate. They don't hate on
But
we
everybody
don't
hates
score
it.
enough goals or stuff.
Yeah.
They always hate on exactly this, but it just will not ever stop. And this, I think, really, no joke. If you're the league, you have to take these sequences and find the players or even suspend them.
No, the league does fine them now for sure.
But fine is not
At the
important.
start of the
Just
season.
No,
it's
a start.
and we'll see.
Yeah.
Once upon a time, and I want to say it was in a match versus Vancouver. Once upon a time, I believe a DC United player found himself suspended after getting a dive that earned a penalty for DC.
Well,
And I'm 95% sure
yeah.
it was against Vancouver, and
Well,
it was several years ago.
well,
And then we got
Piatti
like
got
suspended after the fact. Yeah.
Piatti got was it suspended or fined? I'm not sure, but
So
he got that too. And what I kind of realized the league often does that at the start of the year, like in the first 5 games to
yeah,
kind of
they have resolutions and then they
yeah,
lose
and
it,
it
right?
never
It's a bit
lasts.
like us at the beginning of the year.
Go to the
In
gym.
January, we'll go to the gym the
Yeah,
first couple of
Yeah.
weeks, and then we forget
yeah,
about it, right?
exactly. So that's a shame. That's
Oh,
very very bad move.
I found the stat that I was thinking of. DC United forward suspended for costly dive in Vancouver.
Oh,
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah,
But
Jose
it's
Ortiz. Mhm.
Yeah, but I think that the league has to be a bit more harsh. Like, give a ban of 5 games to the homie. You're pretty sure he's never gonna do that again.
well, no one will
No,
ever do it. No one will
dear
ever do
God,
it
no.
again. The same thing with players that are
You
just
know,
rushing the referee, 10 players, running after the ref to complain. You give out the suspensions once or twice and it's done. Your problem is solved, but
Yeah,
they just won't do it, man.
yeah. No, I'd have to agree that I'm about ready. I'm about ready.
Yeah, I'm more than ready.
Yeah. Alrighty, moving on to our next tweet. Sorry for assaulting your eyes.
yeah, just
Oh yeah.
yeah. Chan said Piatti got fined on one tackle, which made him injured
No.
and missed month. So he was fined,
No.
and he was the one that's injured. So
What the hell?
only
Uh,
MLS versus
Only
Montreal as usual.
MLS. Yep. Oh Lord. Alrighty. Moving on. Number 2. So obviously kind of touching on our Can PL. Once again, we have Vincent at Atayoko who retweeted One Soccer's tweet. And this one I couldn't download and like copyrights and stuff. So go look at One Soccer's Twitter. He tweeted, "Big stop Sirois," after Jonathan Sirois once again saved a penalty in Can PL. And he's starting his second season on the same note.
yes, that's good.
Yeah, and he's getting a lot of saves. He has a lot of
Yeah.
saves to do, right? Because Valor
Yep.
is not really having a good season. In that game, they lost, I think, 3-2 against Pacific. So so it's pretty tough on him right now. I think Valor just only played a couple of games already, but it's been pretty tough for Valor. So we'll see that they're gonna pick up their form in the next few weeks. But Sirois is such a good goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's looking good. It's looking good because that's a precarious position for Montreal. So it's a good thing that he's getting all these minutes and all these saves in the CanPL.
Yeah. As I said to Michael McCall on Saturday, my opinion is that he's the future of goalkeeping in Montreal. So keep proving me right. Alrighty. Next up, we have Chris Smith at CJSmith91, who says, "Every single week that goes by, Georgi Mihailovic's bid for a U.S. men's national team recall gets stronger and stronger. What is Greg Berhalter waiting for?"
I really don't know. I really don't know. And we talked about it a few times here. We don't know what he's waiting for. And, I think that he should have been called even last year. He was the best, second best passer in the league. But if you look at like the assists, like we see it in Europe, he was number one in front of Carlos Hill. So, like, what does he need to do to get that call up?
Well, what can he do more? That's the
I
question.
don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Last year, he showed that he has a great passing range, a very, very good passer. And this year, he's showing his finishing. So at some point, what's lacking in his game that Greg Berhalter is saying, you know what, I can't bring him on. I can't. That's the question.
Maybe Greg Berhalter has Nancy's doghouse, except it's Berhalter's doghouse. Alrighty, moving right along. We have a Nathan Durek at Ndurek. And so this is regarding the CONCACAF W Championship. So He has reminded us that the draw is tomorrow to see who the Canadian women's national teams will play. And just kind of for reference, pot 1 is Canada and the US, pot 2 is Mexico and Costa Rica, pot 3 is Jamaica and Panama, and pot 4 is Haiti and Trinidad Tobago. Who do you guys want Canada to draw?
Oh, I don't want Mexico and I don't want Jamaica. The rest I don't care.
Okay, so so in that case you want Costa Rica, you want Panama, and you're not doesn't really matter which one for Haiti or Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah.
I'd have to agree with you.
Yeah, same thing. I echo everything Eddie said, though I would like we always said that we want to see them play against strong opposition. So hey, I know it's competition. You want to win too, but man, it's good to see them play against these strong competitions, and they did well at the Ireland Club Cup, so shouldn't be too afraid.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. But right now, I want them to play against stronger opposition. But don't forget that the W Championship is
World Cup qualifying.
Yeah, and it's Gold Cup qualifying. It's for both.
Yes,
right.
Yeah.
So so much on the line. So I'm okay getting the weakest team.
You're playing the long game, Hattie.
Yeah, exactly.
Alrighty. And our final tweet of the evening is Only Les Rouges, who tweeted new profile pic with a picture of none other than Carlo Ancelotti, photoshopped, I believe, holding a Team Canada jersey. Because today we heard he gave an interview on the radio saying, at the World Cup, I'm supporting Canada. They haven't qualified in many years, and it's my second home. I'll be there with a Canada shirt on. What do you guys think?
Yeah, but his wife is Canadian, right?
Yes.
So it says it all, right? So, happy.
Yes.
So happy that Carlo Ancelotti is supporting the Canadian national team. Now, I'm happy that Italy didn't qualify too, or else he wouldn't support the Canadian national team. That's for sure. So
no, but hey, if you want someone to draw attention to Canada, he'll do it.
Yeah,
like a European person.
Exactly.
And don't forget that he's the coach of Real Madrid. So maybe if he wants, Alistair Johnston to Real or Tom Miller, we're okay. Just a few millions, just 10 millions, and we're good.
Yeah, we're good. They
can afford it.
Anyway, so.
Yes. Anyway, that wraps up social media for this week, guys. Hattie, I believe it's over to you, no?
Yes, it is over to me with choices. I'll introduce the segment first with our famous bell ring. So, guys, I have 3 choices for you, and I was very excited to think about it. I think, good ideas. I hope that I'm gonna make you scratch your head this time around. You guys are Olivier Renard.
Let's go.
And Marco Di Vaio and Riccardo Bigon, the sporting director at Bologna, come to you with an offer. They tell you, I'm willing to offer you $1 million with a 50% clause on a future profit, on a future sale for Georgi Mihailovic. But I will be loaning back Georgie to Montreal until the end of the season, so you'll have the money right away to use, so $1 million. And you'll keep Georgie until the end of the year, until the end of MLS year. Joey Saputo comes to you and tells you, you know what? You're the boss. It's for you to decide. So do you accept, knowing that Georgie wants to go to Bologna? Who wants to start first?
I'll start.
Yeah,
Bologna? Okay.
Yeah, Bologna.
You know what? I think I'll do it, and the important part in that is the 50% sell on, because I think once you put your feet in Europe, it's almost as if you just gain value automatically, and probably that Georgie will be transferred again at some point, and Montreal will always pick up that good 50% after. And so
50% on profit, right?
Yeah,
Not
exactly.
on the whole value. Yeah.
Well, Adi, if he sold, let's say
Yeah.
5 million, you pick up 2.
Yeah.
No, it's I definitely take it. I definitely take it, and it's a good thing he finishes the year in Montreal, gives us the time and the money to prepare his replacement, because it's kind of inevitable anyways. He's gonna go, so yeah, I do it. The 50% is interesting.
Eve?
Yeah.
I agree that the 50% is interesting. I think 1 million is not enough up front. However, I think Montreal, particularly if Georgie continues to perform, and I mean, he's showing offensive output back-to-back seasons so far, slightly differently, but still great contribution. And obviously, we see the work rate and all those kind of intangibles on the field. So I don't think 1 million is enough up front, whether or not he gets loaned back and whether or not there's a 50% sell-on clause. So I would say no. I would hold out for another team who will just offer a flat sum or like a smaller sell-on fee.
I'm Team Eve on this one.
Okay.
I'm really Team Eve on this one. I agree. It's not good enough. Georgie is good right now, and don't forget that in Europe, Georgie is already, I think, 23 or 24. In Europe, it's not young anymore, right? So I'm not saying that he's not young and he's old, and far from it. But yes, of course, his value will increase. But first of all, you're gonna need him to go to Bologna and perform to Bologna in order to be, attracted to, in order for other teams to be attracted in him and offer a fee to Bologna. So, and we're far from there, right? You never know what's going to happen with Mihailovic going to Bologna. Maybe the coach Sinisa Mihailovic doesn't like what he brings and doesn't want to play him. So now you're kind of lost with your best player not here and not enough money to bring other players to his place. So
It's a roll of the dice, man. Because if he does blossom and he's sold for 20 million,
but I mean, if you get hit by a bus the next day,
I think it's a roll of the dice. It's
but that's a risk I'm not willing to take, because Montreal, we've seen what happens with Balou Tabla. We were so convinced about his potential, right?
Yeah, but we didn't see much in MLS. Balou left. He hardly played any MLS games when he left to Barcelona.
But his potential was pretty clear, Sam.
Yeah, but
like, people were saying Alphonso Davies and Balou Tabla.
Yeah, but there's one thing, Eddie. Don't forget that you can really evaluate potential on a stretch, because there's some players that they'll play 1 or 2 games, they're fantastic, but if you give them constant regular minutes over the time, they're gonna start to fade, and people are gonna start to pick up their their way of playing and stuff. But if you're able to sustain that talent, exactly what Mihailovic is doing, now you're talking about a good player. So I take the chance.
We'll see.
Take the risk, man.
Oh man, you're a gambler, man.
No, not really, but
okay, let's move on with the second choice, guys. You're still Olivier Renard. I like those questions.
Are we drinking any tea?
No, I'm not Sam. You're drinking beer.
Oh, excellent.
So, and you're sitting at your office, and you get a phone call, and it's Franck Ribéry that calls you.
Franck Ribéry.
Franck Ribéry, who's now 39, he calls you and he tells you, "I'm ready to sign with Montreal."
Out of retirement.
He's not retired. He's in Salernitana.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, he's still playing in Italy right now.
Well, but that's the retirement league, according to Justin.
So he's ready to sign with Montreal. He's okay to get a TAM salary, so no need for a DP spot. So not a lot of money. But he tells you, I want a guarantee that I'll play minimum of 25 games for the next 2 years with at least 18 to 20 as a starter.
Over the course of the 2 years or per season?
Yes, per season. So 18 starts, knowing that he's 39 and he's going to be 41 in a couple of years. knowing that it's Rocky Berry, right? So like that's a huge name, right? So would you do it or you wouldn't? It's funny because I was reading tweets. I don't know if you guys saw the Vasily's
Yes.
interview that said that an old player, a very old player, might be in the books for CF Montreal. So, what do you guys think about this possibility?
No. No, just no. I'm really
No,
sorry. No,
no arguments to give.
I have lots of respect for Frank Ribery's, illustrious career. God knows, thanks to Alphonso Davies, I watched a lot of them with Bayern Munich towards the last few years there. But I don't think that's a lot of games for a gentleman who will be entering his 40s to start and play. And
What's wrong with 40s?
I don't know. Ask me in 10 years. No, it's a lot of games for him to start. Winger is a position that demands an awful lot of cardio output as well. And God forbid if we try to start him in a wingback system, Lord have mercy. But I can't imagine the poor man. I mean, he probably could do it. God knows. I'm like thinking about myself here, and I'm not in any shape whatsoever. But yeah, no, it's even if it's just a TAM salary, I don't think the demand of playing time is realistic.
Oh man, it's the playing time that's a bit of a problem. But look, you need these guys in your team and your organization. Look at how if you look in the past, how Rod Fanny was important for the club with the youngsters, with the coaching staff, the connection. Bakary Sagna, you look at Wanyama, what he's doing right now. You can even go a bit earlier in the past of the team, and look, you can say Nesta, who wasn't necessarily what he was. Well, he wasn't at all what he was in his time in Italy and when he came, but still, the aura he brought and what he represented. It's important to have these players now. Are you ready to commit to a player for, I guess, 2 years, right, and give him 18
like
games?
50 matches?
No, he said 18.
No, listen. There's
as
one
a
thing
starter, you said 25 total.
Yeah, 25. Like you can put him for 5 minutes in the other 7, right?
Yeah, but you want to start 18. Yeah. Well, what my point is, I'm assuming Wanyama is leaving at the end of the year. Okay. Most likely, because there's no talk of. Well, we didn't hear anything about an extension. We heard that he was eyeing a return in Europe. So, you need that leadership. I think you need these players that are gonna bring that experience, that serious from the from his career. And you know what? As crazy as it sounds, I'd say yeah, man.
Okay.
Yeah. I think you need these experienced players, even more so in a team that your coach doesn't have a lot of experience. Your assistant coaches are not. Except for Kwame Ampad, who doesn't have years and years of experience. You have a young team. Yeah, man, I'd do it.
You know what? I'll do it too, but for another reason. I want him to sign one of my Marseille shirts.
Yeah.
Okay. I suspect Olivier Renard is not fondling an OM jersey in his office waiting.
Everybody has an OM jersey, man, or else I don't know football. No, but yeah, no. I made it difficult with the appearances and then the starts, but because if I tell you, he's going to sign as a TAM player and he's going to play 5 games, I think everybody will take that chance, right? So.
Then I'm annoyed because he only plays 5 games. Well, then I say still no.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But no, I would like to see him in Montreal. I think he can bring a lot to this team. Still, now he's not going to be fit because he's always injured, right? So he's not going to be fit.
Also,
to play
that's
18 starts, right? So you can't tell you, oh, I should have played more, dude. You were injured, right?
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
but I think you can bring a lot for a young team, and a lot of players could learn from him. And I
Yeah.
think
Mm.
Montreal is trying to build something with the academy, with the youth,
Mhm.
the locals, and having such a legend around a team that's trying to build something a
Yeah,
bit like the Union. I think
Mhm.
it's very positive. It's not the same as like when Drogba came, when we didn't have a plan, we didn't have a structure,
Yeah,
we didn't have
exactly.
anything, right?
Exactly.
So I think it's the right time to have that. So we'll see. We'll see. Let's move on with the third choice. Again, Olivier Renard.
Let's go.
That's my thing today. You get an offer
That you can't
from a
refuse.
European club
Mm.
Mhm.
for $8 million. $8 million
Okay, I'm listening.
for Ishmael Kone, Kamal Miller, Sunusi Ibrahim, and Alistair Johnston all together. All four of them for $8 million. The club tells you they will not be loaned back to Montreal and will have to join their team on July 1st. The players are not really interested in the opportunity, but are willing to go if you want them to. Would you accept the proposition? I remember, guys, $8 million.
Wait, so for the like 2 million each, like all four go for 8.
All four of them for 8. I don't know who
No, I
will
say
get
no.
more.
No, I say
Mhm.
no. I say no. No.
Why?
No.
Why? It's yeah. I mean, you don't have any. First, you don't have much left, and second, I mean, I'm pretty sure that you hold on to some of these players, and you can get more in
Yep.
separate deals.
And you
Especially
get
the
8 million
Canadian
now.
players.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
get
but
8 million now.
well, what would we do with 8 million right now today? You know.
Oh, you signed a whole team with 8 million, man.
Yeah, but no. I think you sign a whole team because you let your whole team leave. You know,
Yeah.
so
Oh no,
no.
I'm just being the devil's
Yeah.
advocate, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no. It's all good, Eddie. But no, I don't like the idea, man. I'd say no, and for both reasons, and most certainly because I'm pretty sure that you time your transfer right with these players. You really you don't hang on to them too long, or you don't jump the gun too much on transfers, and you really time yourself well. I think you can get more from them because
Mhm.
there's talent over there.
Oh yeah.
It's something we didn't see often in the past from our youth. We relied so much on veterans in the past, and
Mhm.
now you got
I like that.
youth, talented youth players. So
Mhm.
no, I don't. I
I
won't
like
do
that. I like that. And then there's a twist.
it.
Okay. Well, for your initial question, I'm saying firm no. Especially the players they're not even that interested in going. You've already said it. So it's not as though we're going to be keeping them here against their will, which can backfire, right? But that's not the case, as you've stated. And I mean, that's a hefty chunk of your defensive force, your starting caliber defense, to throw out. Even if Kone and Sunusi Ibrahim might not be like guaranteed de facto starters at this point. But they still definitely have a role to play in the squad. So no. I would not accept to lose
Twist.
all four of them at once. Go.
Twist. Of course, you give your decision because I knew this was good. The decision that you were going to take.
Because it was a ridiculous proposition, but yes.
And the agent starts working with the other club and come back and convince all the players, all four players, that they want to go. The other club is like, listen, all your players really want to come. But I understand that's a lot to give. And, we reviewed our proposition. and we're offering you 14 million for all 4 of them. 14 million, but they're going right now. And
like
we
right
don't
this
want
like tomorrow on a plane or in July?
no, right now we don't want him. If you want to accept this proposition, we of course officially we're not supposed. The transfer is not going to be official before the 1st of July, but gentlemen's agreement, you cannot play them anymore because we don't want them injured for July 1st. I know this is not something that's usually done, but let's make choices. So 14 million, you lose them on the spot.
Immediately.
14 million, guys.
It's a bit of money.
Well,
And, I think unless they were like in my office saying, please let me go. If they were in my office saying, please let me go, then
No, they're not in your office.
No. Okay. No.
Wow.
Or I go back to them with like 12 million and they can stay till July and play.
No. It was the last offer.
Okay.
That's
no,
it.
I still say no.
Okay. Sam?
oh well.
If you want me to answer, I can answer first.
Yeah, go ahead.
I would say yes.
Yeah, me too.
Without a question.
No, see, I think Miller and Johnston for sure are going to have their values go up, way up, come November.
I don't care, man. I want my 14 millions now because you don't know what's going to happen in the future. I'm taking my 14 millions and I'm buying everything that I can. I already have a player in each one of those positions. We do have the center backs with Corbo. We have
ZBG.
we have Kari Fayao that you can call back, and that's playing awesome with Cavalry. You have ZBG playing as a right wing back or right back. You have Kone, you have Zuhir, you have Piet that's coming back. You have Amdi that's coming back.
Kone's going.
Torres.
Yeah, that's it.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's what
to replace Kone, you have Piet,
okay, I'm sorry.
you have Zuhir, and you have Hamdi. Then Sunusi, you have Torres, and why not Ribery, right? So So I love those players. I think that they have to stay in Montreal, but when the price is right, man.
Yeah,
no
I'd do it
questions
too.
about it.
Yeah, I'd do it too. And just imagine, the money you can put in the club, in the stadium. You could put in the academy.
14 million, man.
Yeah.
14 million. You have already the players. You just need to buy, maybe 2 or 3 more altogether for what, 3 or 4 million.
Maybe,
and then you have 10 million to play with.
Oh yeah. Oh no,
but you have to get the league also takes a cut of all the money when you transfer a player. Don't forget they take 25%.
Whatever they want.
They reduced that. I think it's now for the homegrowns it's 100%. So Kone will be 100%.
Oh yeah. Oh sorry. Yeah, I forgot about the homegrown part.
Yeah, and the others it depends. It depends. There's a lot of. They changed that recently. I think they went from 75 to maybe 5 or 10%. I think, if I'm not mistaken.
That's
but
good.
I don't remember the rule. But I think
they still take a cut.
Yeah, they have to.
Yeah, but still, you have 75%, man. Like,
that's good.
Okay,
Word.
I'd do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have anything to add, Sam?
No, it would be good money for the academy. I think you could hit up the stadium with some good renovations and yeah. No, I think it would be some much needed money. And don't forget, these players, it didn't cost you much. Johnston was the most expensive player, so that's profit. That's profit. So
yeah, and I'm looking at the transfer rules. For the players that because Sunusi is a U22 initiative, I think. Yeah. So I have 100% of If in the event of a player occupying a U22 initiative slot is transferred outside of the league, 100% of the proceeds of the sale will be paid to the club and such amount may be converted to general allocation money based on the below sliding scale, and then you have a
Yeah.
scale. So 100% goes to the club. So
In
Sanusi,
some capacity, yeah.
Yeah, it's good. Nah,
Yeah.
do it.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Still no.
All right. That's it for me, man.
Good,
Right.
good. And I think that's it for us, guys. It was a cool show again. I want to say thanks to Justin Friedberg from Do by the River podcast. It was cool to have him at the start of the show previewing our trip to Chester, Philadelphia. I want to say thank you to Eve and Hadi. It was fun having you tonight, as usual, on the show.
Yeah, very fun as usual, man. Thanks for hosting the whole show.
Yeah,
As always.
always a pleasure. And thanks to everyone who rode with us all night and everyone who's going to listen during the week. It's always cool. And everyone, thank you so much. And we'll see you next week. It's Sunday, 6:30 p.m. for another episode of The Ballers Zone. Take care, guys.